Now, let's proceed to our example. Okay. So, the system here in our example requires a simulation time of 20 minutes. So, of course, pag start sa system, free siya, wala siya giserve. Now, how about ning sulod or ning arrive si entity 1 at 1 minute. So, the arrival time is 1 minute. Again the example here is same lang sa previous video tutorial. Okay, so arrival time 1 minute. So, automatically mag-start siya since the system is free. And then, the system time of entity 1 is 2. End service time is 3 minutes. And then, pagka 5 minutes, naabot si entity 2. Now, since pag abot ni entity 2, free ang system, automatically, start siya. Then, we get the end service time, which is 10 minutes. Then, 10 minus 5, this is 5. Now, here, during the service time of entity 2, which is 5 minutes, ning sulod si entity 3 at 7 minutes. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan niya mapila sa queue. Hulat siya dito. And then, ning sulod po si entity 4 at 8 minutes. So, here, nadungagan na ang atoang entity nga ning pila sa queue. So, ibig sabihin, this is already a relevant event. 8 to 7 minutes. So, ibig sabihin, na tayo first event. So, I'm going to write here, event 1. Okay. We are going to identify, before ning sulod si entity 4, or before ning pila gud si entity 4, from 7 to 8 minutes, pila kabok entity ang naa didto ning pila daan. So, we have 1. Si entity 3 lang. Nganong wala man apil si entity 4. Nganing pila naman siya pagka 8 minutes. Ning pila pa lang siya. Kakasulod pa lang niya. Okay? So, hindi mo na siya included. Isang entity lang. From 7 to 8 minutes. Si entity 3. Therefore, 1 times ang period of time natin or relevant event, 8 minus 7. So, this is 1 times, this answer here is 1. So, this is 1 entity minutes. This means that for 1 minute, which is 7 to 8 minutes, there was 1 entity in the queue, which is C, entity 3. Okay? Now, next relevant event here na magpapa-change sa state of our system is of course ang end service of entity 2. Kay mag-start service na pud ana si entity 3. Okay, so let me just write it down. 10, 14, 7. Now, from 8 minutes to the end service of entity 2, yan ang matatawag natin na another relevant event. We're going to identify from these minutes, arrival time ni entity 4 hangtod sa end service time of entity 2. Pila ka buok entity ang naa sa queue. So, we have 2. Si entity 3 ug entity 4. So, event 2, we have 2 entities times, ang relevant time natin, 8 to 10 minutes. So, this is 10 minus 8. So, 10 minus 8, that will be 4. 10 minus 8, that will be 2. Times 2, this is 4 entity minutes. Meaning, there are 2 entities, 3 and 4, waiting in the queue sulod sa 4 ka minuto, which is between 8 to 10 minutes. Okay. Now, next naman natin na relevant event is ang end service ni entity 3, which is 14 minutes. Right? Now, let me just fill this up muna. So, pagka-end ni entity 3, nag-start na si entity 4. So, 14. And then, ang end service niya is 15. This is 7. Okay. So, like what I've said kanina, the next relevant event here is, since wala may sulod sa pila nato, therefore, let's try to check the relevant event of the end service of entity 3. So, here, between 10 minutes, which is ang begin service time of entity 3, to 14 minutes, pila kabuok ang entity nga naghulat. We have only one, entity 4. So, this will be ang event 3, 1 times 14 minus 10 is equals to, this would be 4 entity minutes. So, that's our third relevant event. Now, let's proceed to the fourth relevant event. Okay, now here, since on service na si entity 4 with a system time of 7 minutes and ending at 15 minutes, sulod si entity 5 at 16 minutes. So, since the system is free here, automatically mag-start siya. And this will be 19, and this is 3. Okay. During the service of entity 5, which is 3 minutes, nisulod si entity 6 at 18 minutes. So, naghulat siya nga mahuman si entity 5. So, therefore, our next relevant event is the end service of entity 5. So, from 19 to 80 or 18 to 19 minutes, pila ka entity ang naghulat sa pila? We have entity 6. So, therefore, our event number 4 is 1 times 19 minus 18 is equals to 1 entity minutes. Yan. So, this is our event number 4. Ibig sabihin, one entity is waiting in the queue between 19 to 18 minutes. Okay. Now, let's say, nag-start na og service si entity 6. So, this is 19, 21, 3. Okay. So, if we're going to include here the napa by entity 7? Let me check. Okay. Basta based on what I remember, if we're going to include or compute here entity 7, the arrival time of this entity will be 22 minutes, which is siya sa simulation time natin. Therefore, hanggang entity 6 lang tayo. Okay. Here, magagamit na natin to siya to get the time average number in Q. So, what we're going to do is just use the formula. Diretso na lang nako. Q is equals to sum this all up. 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 1. And then divided by the simulation time, which is 20 minutes. The answer will be 0.5. So, this is the time average number in Q. In Q. 0.5. Okay, so that's how you get the time average number in Q. Medyo nakakalito talaga siya. But just remember the relevant event Dalawa yan siya. Arrival of an entity and then waiting in the queue. And second event is end service of an entity, because the end service of an entity leads to the start service of the waiting entity. Okay? So, that's for time average number in queue. Now, let's proceed naman to the average resource utilization.